we need to review some building blocks for geometry. So let's review some vocabulary. We have points, lines, and planes. So points describe a location in space. They're named by one capital letter and they're drawn as a dot. For example, this is point P. Lines are determined by 2 points. They're drawn with arrows at both ends. They're named by one lowercase letter or 2 uppercase letters with a line over them with arrows at both ends. So here's an example of a line. Here's the lowercase letter, and then here's 3 points on the line. So we could name this line AB, we could name it line AC, or line BC. Then we have planes. Planes are determined by 3 non-collinear points. So non-collinear points means they're not on the same line, but they are in the same plane. So planes are usually drawn as a slanted 4-sided figure, and they're usually named by at least 3 points, sometimes 4, or a Greek letter. And you can see the Greek letter right here. So we could call this that plane, or we could say plane ABC, ACB. The order of those letters doesn't matter. Okay, then we also have line segments, which are a line that's bounded by 2 endpoints. It has to have 2 endpoints specified, and it's named by 2 capital letters with a line over it. A ray is bound by 1 endpoint, and it's a subset of a line. It's drawn by 1 endpoint that goes through another endpoint forever. It's named by 2 capital letters with the endpoint first and then an arrow. So when you name a ray, order matters. If this point was A and there was another point labeled here, we would call it ray AB. We couldn't call it ray BA because we have to start with the endpoint. A vertex is a point where the endpoints of 2 segments or rays intersect. Then we have angles. Here's one definition of an angle. We're going to be more specific. Here's our 3 definitions of an angle. We're going to be more specific about what these mean shortly. So an angle is a figure formed by 2 rays with a common vertex. You can also define it as the space between 2 rays, or a representation of the amount of turn or rotation. It's nice to have all 3 of these definitions to make sure we actually understand all attributes or pictures of what angles look like. Then we could talk specific angles. Acute angles are an angle whose measure is less than 90 degrees. A right angle is a measure whose exactly 90 degrees. An obtuse angle is an angle whose measure is greater than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. A straight angle is an angle whose measure is exactly 180 degrees. And then a reflex angle is an angle whose measure is greater than 180 degrees, but less than 360 degrees. I hope that helped you review some vocab. We're going to talk more specifically about angles.